Friends are soulmates, or at least they can be. This is why today we'll touch on the topic of friendships. As we grow older, it's more and more hard to sustain the right connections in our life. In this episode, we'll talk about long distance friendships and how to maintain them, and finding new friends. Actually, I found a way to make friends that nobody has told me before. I've spent so many hours on YouTube trying to find the magic key to new friendships. Nobody could tell me an easy fix, but I found it. And I'll share it with you. But first, if we were having coffee. This is our format where I tell you a little bit about me and how my life is going right now. It's inspired by a newsletter from the Bliss Bean, if anybody knows her. But now, if we were having coffee, I would tell you that I'm applying to work abroad for 2 to 3 weeks this summer because I want to meet new people and I decided to give Worldpackers a go. So if somebody has had any experiences with the platform, let me know. I would tell you that I finally finished my writing projects. I had to work on a Christmas story, a flash fiction, and a so-called fairy tale gone bad at the same time, and I was stressed. Now I have to give some feedback still to my writing buddies, but I can fully focus on my novel again, and that feels really, really good. And I would tell you that I went to swim in the lake for the first time this year. It's still freezing cold, somewhere around 17 degrees, but I'm kind of proud that I made it. Now, if we were having coffee, I'd also love to hear your stories. So head over to Instagram and let me know what's been going on in your life lately.
I swear.
Welcome to Big Sister Chats, the podcast where we dive into all things mental health, physical well-being, and cultivating a positive mindset. Whether it's about growing in life or tackling everyday challenges, I've got you covered. Growing up with 3 brothers, I always wished I had another woman to turn to for advice. If you've ever felt the same way, you're in the right place. Let's get started with today's episode.
Today, we'll be talking about all things friendship, starting with long distance friendships. So, I want to talk about how do you maintain your friendships. And the first thing I thought about was that different friendships need different handling. And I'll tell you something about it. I have some friends that I text on the daily actually. And others I only see when I'm back home. I have friends that call me randomly, like without a fixed schedule, just whenever they like to, more or less frequent, and I'll call them whenever I feel like it. And actually there's also friends that just send me TikToks or snaps, and I don't see them that often, but it's not no contact at all, But you might have some people that are really important to you and you want to keep in contact. Maybe you've been falling off or you're preparing to go somewhere. And so I've picked my top tips and I'm going to share them with you. I really, really liked Locket. It's an app for pictures. You can imagine it something like Be Real or Snapchat, but you're only sending the pictures to the other person's home screen. And it's kind of cute. You can add little messages, but not a lot. And it's been working great for me in the beginning when I came here and there was so many things to do and see. But, I can snap a quick picture and send it to them. And yeah, that's kind of nice. You can see the history of photos. You can definitely check that out. The other idea I have is that you schedule a weekly call. I was asking some of my friends before I moved if they wanted to do that, but we actually found out we're not the type of people and we don't have the type of life to manage that, because we are all creative and busy people, and so that means we cannot just say every Tuesday at 8, because maybe one Tuesday I'll meet new friends, other Tuesdays I'll be at some painting class, who knows. So that wouldn't work for us, but it might work for you. And it can be a huge help, actually. If you move far, far away to a different time zone, it's easier to find one time frame where it's okay for the both of you than try to find a time to call each other again each week. But it's up to you. You can also call on the random, like we sometimes do. It's also working. You just need to know and try to keep track when you called last time, so that you're not calling them, I don't know, for 3 days in a row and then not again for another month. That wouldn't be the goal. What I did a lot of in the beginning were kind of Snapchat or WhatsApp vlogs. You can imagine I was going home, I was coming to the bus stop, and I had about, 5 to 10 minutes of walking from the bus stop to home. And this time I would always use to check my phone and then send a quick video to the friends of mine, talking about my day or what's been bothering me or something. And the nice thing is that you're not adding it to the library, let's say it that way, because Snapchat and also WhatsApp has this feature now to watch the videos only once. And that's why I really liked it. And yeah, I'm a talker, actually, and it helps me when I have something on my mind. It helps me to talk about it, and that was really good for me, because often we did not find a time to call. But what would also happen is that we wouldn't find the time to watch each other's videos. And sometimes there were just, 10 videos waiting for me, all 2 to 3 minutes long. And I was just not watching them until the next time we called and then or saw each other. And then we catched up anyways, and I never watched these videos. So sometimes I would even record them and then delete them again, because I knew, I was just going on and on and on about my day without anything really valuable. And same for some of my friends. They've also told me that they've done this, but it's nice. Sometimes you just need to talk it out and then it's all right. But if you like this, if this is something that works for you and your friends, you can definitely try that, because everybody can just watch the videos whenever they have time. Or audios are probably also possible, but I think videos are a little bit more personal. My favorite thing to do is something I saw somewhere, probably on TikTok, let's be honest, but it's so long ago that I don't know anymore. And we call it a Sunday picture exchange. This is something I do with 2 of my friends. And every Sunday I have an alarm set to 8 called Sunday picture exchange. Sorry for that. And I will send them the most important pictures of my week. This can be, I don't know, things I did, like going to the lake, or maybe I made a really nice meal. I saw a cute cat somewhere, whatever. And sometimes I'll add a caption, sometimes I won't. And it's also nice if we haven't been hearing or seeing each other for a whole week. At least there's some selfies with new friends, and I feel like that helps a lot. And I really like seeing them and seeing what my friends are up to. And sometimes, there's also weeks where you're just busy with work or university, anything. And then there's not much to share, but it's alright. There's better weeks and worse weeks. So, what I've written down too is what you should talk to them about, or let's say figure out. And I think the most important part is to find out what communication type do you have and what communication type do your friends have. Because for example, I already said I'm a talker, but I'm also a big texter, and it makes me really anxious when my friends, for example, read my text, but they don't respond. I would think that I did something wrong or offend them or something, and that's of course not the case. But it can feel like that, and so it's extremely important to just tell them beforehand, like, hey, if you're reading my messages and not responding, that's not good for me. I had this situation with a friend of mine, and then we spoke about it, and she said, okay, when I don't have time, I'll just not read them at all, and just read them when I have time to reply to. And now that works better for me, because I know when she doesn't read my messages even for a day, I can be sure she's just really, really busy and not hating me for some reason. I don't know. Yes, and you should also know, because if you're not a big texter, for example, but your friends are, or you would like to do video calls, but your friends don't, you should just figure that one out. And now comes the hardest part of this section, which is you can't keep all of them, or you can't keep all of them this close as right now if you're moving away from home. I think you should choose the friends that you want to hear from more regularly. And let's be honest, you'll make some new friends in your new town, and you can only keep so many friendships at once. And it's okay to slowly distance yourself from others. You can decide whether you want to stay in contact for a little bit, like with Snapchat photos, sending each other TikToks, or seeing them when you're coming back home. Or some friendships are just also ending when you're moving away. And that's actually also okay. Yes, that's what I have to say about that. And also, if you're going home again, it will make it much easier to set priorities, because you only have so much time, and then you can decide when you're there for 2 weeks who you want to see and who maybe doesn't fit in that time frame. But now you might be even more excited to hear about finding new friends. I was thinking about making this episode also about being lonely, distancing yourself from friends. Yeah, just a feeling of loneliness actually when you move to a new city, or maybe just, you can feel lonely wherever. But I decided not to do that. I would rather make this about friendships. And we'll definitely have another episode about feeling lonely later. So, finding new friends. My situation currently is that I moved to a new city and I know nobody here except my colleagues at work. And here it's actually not so common to be friends with your coworkers. I'm sure there's countries where you just, I don't know, going for dinner with your colleagues and, I don't know, to the lake and things like that. But here it's not like that. And that's okay too. Or, yeah, let's say it like that. What would make this easier, of course, would be studying at a university, because then I would be around people my age somewhere, some hours a day at least. And I think it's just easier to make friendships in school or university. But I decided to work here, and so that's not the case. Or what would have also helped is having at least one friend here. Because I feel like if you have one friend who has been living here for longer or grown up in this town, they will have some friends too. And then you can tag along sometimes and maybe meet people and meet friends and meet the friends of friends and then meet their friends again. And then it's just networking. It's not easy, let's say that way, but you can start with one person. And I feel like as soon as you have one friend, life is already a lot easier because you're not so lonely anymore. There's days where you want to meet somebody and it's nice to have a friend, at least. So I also thought I'd share a story time with you because I find it really hard to make friends, actually. And I was in the bus with a colleague of mine. It was kind of loud, and I was complaining, and I was just saying, like, oh, it's so hard to make friends around here. And he didn't hear me all right. And he goes, do I think it's hard? No. And actually, he found all of his friends at work pretty soon and pretty easy. So that's why I was struggling a bit with my first point of not being able to find colleagues here that are friends. So it might just be hard for me. And complaining doesn't help. So I think we should just look at our options as more introverted people. I feel it sounds really scary and everybody's saying that, but joining clubs or doing classes can be really nice. So depending on your interest and also your budget, there are a whole lot of options. For example, you could go and do yoga or do language classes. I'm sure there's groups for everything, for chess and football and all of that. Also, hiking clubs. There are a lot of them, and basically any sports. But I've also seen like book groups, like reading and also writing. And other creative hobbies too. You can either just search them up or use apps. There's really nice apps like Meetup or Eventfrog, or even Facebook groups. I'm not really using Facebook, but I heard they can be quite good. And also, what I want to mention, there are a lot of free options here. I'm sure there's like paid yoga classes in every town, but I know around here at least there's also free options. Just people meeting up every morning, I don't know, at 7, and then doing yoga together for half an hour. Seems nice to me. Then you should identify what kind of friendship you're searching for. I mean, are you searching for a friend that you can tell all your secrets, or are you searching for somebody who you can geek out on the new movie that just came out and all of that stuff? Maybe you're just looking for any human connection. Maybe you're not even looking for friends that much. You just want to see people, I don't know, because you still have friends back home, and that's fine by you, and you just want some exchange every now and then. You can also, can also be like that, because I feel like when I'm doing home office all day, I really miss people, and then I love to go out in the evening and do just something, anything, a girls meetup, I don't know, going to the gym just to see people. So maybe you're more looking for that than for a real new friendship. But if you're looking for new friendships, this is also really cliche, but say yes and be positive. Go on that hike with your coworkers, even though you hate hiking. Just keep that to yourself. Don't complain. And I mean, if you're going with a group, there's potential friends there. And just because they enjoy hiking and you don't really enjoy hiking, it doesn't matter. If they're good people, they can become your friends. You don't have to go hiking. Or maybe you'll start even to like that hobby too. Yes, and then you can also help people with some favors. You can do small things like, I don't know, if they're moving to a new apartment, help them one day, go and buy some new plants with them. Just little things, you don't have to do everything. You should keep it well balanced. But taking the first step, being proactive and offering your help can go a long way. And friendships don't happen overnight. They are also effort. There's really some friends that want to keep their friendship and maybe it's not working. They've been friends for 10 years and they're going to therapy together, like couples would do. And I mean, this just shows that you have to put in as much effort into a friendship as into a relationship. And just because you meet somebody once for coffee doesn't mean that you can now text them each day and count them as your friend or not talk to them at all for 3 months and then still assume you're friends and maybe they have forgotten about you. Let's be honest. It's just effort, especially in the beginning. And I feel like you should also, if you feel like this is a potential friend, you should also try to find some ways to meet up. Of course, the first few times might be a little bit awkward and you'll be talking about things like, how was your day and how is it at work? And it's not so fun at first. But eventually you'll learn and it's like, hey, how was your, I don't know, birthday party last weekend? We haven't seen each other. Oh, actually, I haven't told you, I've gone to Rome last week. And then, it goes like that. It's hard in the beginning, but then it gets easier. Yes. Then, I also, it's scary, let's say it that way, but do things solo. I mean, go out, you can just do something, go to parties if you want to, travel somewhere, visit the beach, and just be brave, step out of your comfort zone. I mean, you could ask some strangers to join the volleyball game. And or when you're at a party, I'm not encouraging anybody to smoke, but if you are a smoker, asking for a lighter can be a great conversation starter, actually. And I think it's especially easy to make friends while you're traveling. When I'm traveling, I always stay at hostels, and they are shared rooms, like 4 to 6 to 8 people, for me mostly women's bedrooms. And then, you'll see each other at least sometimes in the hostel. And yeah, if you're young, this is definitely a good option. And people are willing to go to coffee together or grab some lunch and visit the city. And mostly, if you're booking through Hostel World, for example, there will also be like travel groups for the place you're in. So if you're going to Rome, let's pick that up again, and you'll stay at some hostel, there will be a hostel group chat. And then many people are just texting, hey, who's here tonight? I'd love to go visit this and that bar or do this and that. And then you can just tag along and meet some friends. And then, it's nice to have friends in your hometown and friends in your new town, but I also love having friends all over the world. And while it's sometimes hard to keep contact, or sometimes I see something from them and then I'll comment on their Instagram stories, and it's still really, really nice. And if my idea of just going up to somebody and asking them to join their volleyball game sounds as scary to you as it does to me, you can always use apps like Bumble BFF and others. They're just, they're working like Tinder, but only for friends. So if I use Bumble BFF, I'll only see women on there, and I can swipe left or right, depending on if I have the feeling that we are matching, let's say that, a matching friendship. And then you can try making it a small coffee friendship, get to know each other, or something like that. That's less scary than going up to strangers, I feel like. And now I've come to my secret tip I was telling you about at the beginning of the episode. I was actually downloading Bumble BFF, and the problem I have with those apps is there's no commitment in them. So you can match with 10 people and probably 8 of them won't respond, and one of them will ghost you after some times, and the other person you might see once for coffee and then they're also gone. That happened to me a lot, and I didn't like to waste my time on there. And also sometimes I didn't have time, and then it would just go into nothing again. So what I did is I would download Bumble BFF again, and I would actually set my radius to really, really small, like only this town here, and then swipe right on everybody I was seeing, and to everybody that was matching me, I was sending a small message like, hey, I would like to make a Instagram group chat with all the girls from our city. If you want to be a part of that, just send me your Instagram name and we can, do something one day. And actually a lot of girls were responding, and I was building that group, and I should probably do it again, because I think there's more girls around who would love to join. And that's it. actually. And the good thing about this is you already have your group. And I was organizing a first meeting. I was telling everybody, hey, let's meet up for coffee. And then we were chatting which day and so on and so forth. And then a lot of us were meeting. And that was really nice because you could see who you were linking with and who maybe not so much. But also now it's really cool because if you don't have anything to do, you can just chat, hey, I would really love to go out tonight, but I don't know where. And then most likely somebody will text back, hey, I'm at this and that bar, come and join. And that's how friendships are forming, or at least you're not alone. And with them, some really cool things like also hiking sometimes, but we're also going to the lake, just having vision board nights, going to coffee shops, all of that. And I've met a lot of really nice girls there. And it's so cool and so easy. And it's much better than just chatting with one person over the app, because it's so easy to be ghosted, or, you know, we're busy people. Maybe we don't have time, and then, yeah, what are you doing if you have one friend and she or he doesn't have time? So this is really nice. And I also encourage you to do the first step and make this group, because after that it will be easy. And maybe for the first meetup you can think of some things like games you could play or how to introduce yourselves, because if you're 8, 10, 20 people, it can very quickly turn into like one person asking and then everybody around the table answering and all of the others listening. It's a little bit weird, but you know, you've seen each other, and after that, it's easy. It's really cool. And the girls can invite their friends to the group, and I mean, you can also decide to make it mixed, but I was just finding this easy because, I mean, Bumble BFF, as a woman, I can only add women, and so it's a woman's only group chat right now. Now, last but definitely not least, don't give up. Social anxiety is a thing. And let's be honest, when I prepare to going out, or at least when I used to prepare to going out, I was so keen on making friends. I was thinking, okay, I'll go to the bar tonight and I'll meet somebody and I'll just, I don't know, ask for a lighter, even though I'm not a smoker, but I'll do it tonight because then I'll meet people. And while I was preparing, I was feeling my fingers going like ice cold because I was so nervous. And sometimes I did go out, and most times I didn't make it out of the house because it's really scary. And yeah, well, let's be honest, not going anywhere and not doing anything won't help, because friends won't just appear, they won't just break into your house, and you have to do something about it. Also, spend your energy wise. This also links back to managing your old friends, because if you're constantly occupied with your friends from your old hometown that you're probably actually not aligning with anymore, yeah, it's a lot of energy you could spend on trying to make new friends and invest that time in blossoming friendships. Also, it's way easier said than done. You need to get out of your comfort zone, but I've also told you multiple times now that I get you, I feel you, I've been through the same. My tips are just call a friend or like your mom or somebody when you're walking to the bar because you'll be distracted, or wherever you're going. You know, if you're nervous about going to a painting class, also call your mom and talk about either that, because, I mean, the other person could have nice tips or just calm you down or talk about anything so you're distracted. And also text somebody. Like if you have a best friend back in your hometown, text them, hey, I will go there and there tonight, and make them or make yourself accountable for that. Because it's really bad if you're always saying, hey, I'll go there, and then you're not going. It's, yeah. And if they're calling you out on that and you're calling yourself out on that, you'll eventually probably go finally. And that's a good way. I feel like the hardest part is actually leaving your house and then you're walking, if you need that, and then going inside again. Like the first step inside. I remember the first event I ever wanted to attend here. I was getting ready, I was dressed really nice, I was doing my makeup, everything. And then I went to the bar and I was standing outside and I looked at it and people were looking out of the windows and I was like, nope. And I went back home, and same happened twice actually. There was also like a meetup for people who just moved here, and it was at some restaurant, and I had a choice between catching my train or going there and meeting people. And so I went there and I stopped and I didn't go in again. And I missed the train and I had to wait a whole hour, but I did not go into that restaurant. I was too scared. But I think it's getting easier after that. I also started working out here for the first time in my life, and setting my foot into that gym was so freaking hard. But after you've done that, after you've gone in, talked to them, they showed you all the things that they have, it's easier. It's going for the second time, the third time. It's getting easier and easier, and that's good. It's just hard at first, and it's okay if you cannot manage. Once, twice, maybe you're going home without meeting anybody, and that's okay too. But I encourage you to try again, and I just wanted to say, you got this. And that's already it. So I'll recap and tell you the key takeaways from today. So let's recap what we've learned. If you want to keep your long distance friendships, find your communication style. Either schedule calls or send each other mini vlogs or something else, whatever you guys prefer. Letting go of your friends from your hometown is okay. If you're feeling lonely right now, find things you can do on your own that are fun, like pottery classes or days at the lake. Spend time alone or meet friends in classes and events or by being brave. Try different events and groups. There are many free events. Say yes to things, and if you have a bad feeling, you can always still turn around and go home. I know it's hard for us introverts to put us out there, but truly, you only need to find one really good friend, and you can do that. Step out of your comfort zone at least once a week. Give it a try. Take action either by messaging people on apps like Bumble BFF, or try my tip and make a group chat with all the lovely people from your town. so that actually everybody has higher chances to meet new friends. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you liked it, please consider to like and subscribe to this podcast and let me hear your feedback over on Instagram. See you soon!